everyone, today I'm going to be talking you through my Cecelia Ahern collection, but first of all I do just want to say I apologise if I sound a bit croaky at any point during this video or if I burst into a coughing fit. I've had a really horrible cold and cough all this week, so I have been in bed for a lot of this week, but I have got a lot of reading done, which is a good thing I suppose, so a bonus of being ill. Cecelia Ahern's latest book has just been released, so in celebration of that I thought I would go through all of the books of hers that I own. The first book of Cecelia Ahern's that I want to talk to you about is actually the first one I ever read, and that is P.S. I Love You. This is actually my second copy because the first copy I had I'd read so many times that it was literally falling apart, so I had to buy myself a new one. This is a really popular book that a lot of people have heard about, and it was actually made into a film, so if you haven't seen the movie I do recommend it, although it is quite different from the book. But if you don't know what it's about, Holly's husband Jerry dies and leaves behind a series of letters for her to help her move on, but also reminds her of the good times as well. Then we have Where Rainbows End, which is also known as Love, Rosie. This is another one that I could probably do with a new copy of because I've reread this so many times I'm surprised it hasn't fallen apart yet. This is an amazing story about two people called Rosie and Alex who have been friends since school and are sort of destined to be together, but then Alex's family move away and Rosie gets some shocking news of her own. Then we have If You Could See Me Now, and this is about a woman called Elizabeth who is always very busy and is trying to hold everything together, and then a man called Ivan walks into her life who is the complete opposite of her and changes everything. I read this one quite a long time ago, so I would really like to reread this one again actually, but I do remember that it's not your typical romance novel. Next we have A Place Called Here, which again I would love to reread because I read this one when I was quite young and I'm sure I'd appreciate it a lot more if I read it again now. I do remember really loving the character of Sandy in this, and I also remember that this is a very imaginative book and it's based around the idea of missing things and missing people. This is another book that I'd really like to reread again soon because it has been so long since I did read it, and that is Thanks for the Memories. This book is about a woman called Joyce who can remember things and dreams things that she says she's never seen or done. And that is sort of all I can say about this book because everything I can think about that I want to say might end up spoiling some of it, so I'm going to leave it there with this one. The next book is a really good one to read around Christmas time, and that is The Gift. This book focuses on a businessman called Lou and a homeless man called Gabe who sits outside of Lou's offices. It's a beautifully written story and I remember flying through this one once it got started. This is where all my books start to fall now because I'm starting to take out the hardback ones and all the paperback ones are just going to fall that way. Next we have The Book of Tomorrow, and I remember absolutely loving this book and constantly wanting to find out what was going to happen next. This is about a girl called Tamara who gets a book out of a travelling library, and when she opens it finds that there are diary entries written inside, but they're dated ahead and they haven't actually happened yet. The next 5 books that I'm about to show you don't have the dust covers on. I do still have them, but I love the way that books look without the dust covers on, so I have taken them all off, but I do have them. This is another book that I don't feel I can say too much about without spoiling it, and it's also one that I'd love to reread again. This is The Time of My Life. I will insert pictures of the covers for the next few books because obviously the dust cover's not on there, just so you can see them. But this book is about a girl called Lucy who has just had enough with her life. She hates her job, she's been avoiding her family and friends until one day an invitation turns up for her and everything changes. The next book is 100 Names, and this is another one that had me constantly wanting to read the next page to find out just how all of these people were connected. The main character, Kitty, is a journalist and she has written a story that has landed her in some hot water, but when the chance to write a new story comes along she takes it. Her friend has left her a list of 100 names but nothing else, and her job is to find out exactly who these people are and how they are connected. The next book is my absolute favourite by Cecelia Ahern, and that is How to Fall in Love. This book is about Adam and Christine, and they meet on a bridge one night in Dublin when Adam is about to jump. Christine manages to talk him down, and then they make a deal that Christine can teach him that life is worth living before his upcoming birthday. Next we have The Year I Met You, and this book focuses on Jasmine and Matt, who are both going through rather difficult times after being put on leave from their jobs. I really enjoyed this book, and I can still remember going out to buy this and starting it straight away, and I can also remember that I stayed up until the early hours so that I could finish it. Then we have The Marble Collector, and I really enjoyed this book, but I didn't like it as much as some of the other ones that she's written. This book is about Sabrina finding her father's marble collection and uncovering secrets and finding out that there are things that she doesn't know about her father. I did really enjoy the fact that this book was written from dual perspectives, though. I love books that are written from different points of view. The last 3 books that I'm going to show you have got their dust covers back on, but I will be taking them off again after this video. It's only because they were in the cupboard under my bookcase that I could get my hands on them, so I've put them back on just for the purpose of this video. The next book is Lyrebird, and this one is about a documentary crew who uncover a girl who's been living out in the wilderness when they are filming something else. She can mimic sounds really well, which is why they give her the nickname of Lyrebird, and when they leave they take her back to the city with them. Finally, I'm going to talk about the 2 YA books that Cecelia has released, and the first one is Flawed. I remember this book coming out and really wanting it, and I can remember actually going to buy it and my mum saying, "Oh, you don't need to buy that," meaning she'd already bought it for me. But what she didn't tell me at the time was that she bought it for me for my birthday, which was over 2 months away, so I had to wait before I could read this book. Celestine is a privileged girl who lives in a world where rule breaking is met with being physically branded as flawed. One day she makes the decision to help a flawed man on a bus, which is forbidden, and the whistleblowers come and arrest her, and it all goes on from there. Then we have Perfect, which is a continuation of the story of Flawed, and this has only just been released, and I actually spent ages trying to find this on the release date. I went to 3 different stores before I eventually found it. There's not too much I can say about this book because if you haven't read Flawed, I don't want to go and spoil anything for you, but I will say that I actually think I enjoyed this book more than Flawed, and that I read this one within 24 hours. I absolutely loved it. So that is my current Cecelia Ahern collection. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm sorry that I didn't go into too much detail about each of the books, but as I said, I am feeling under the weather with this cough and cold, and also I didn't want the video to end up being too long because there were 15 books to talk about. If you do want to discuss any of these books further, then I'll be happy to talk to you. I will leave all of my social media links in the description box below. Thank you so much again for watching, guys, and I will see you again next week, hopefully without this cough and cold. Bye!